Hey everyone. So I'm doing something a little bit different. This is much more inspired by the one of the best speedrunners in the game. They Blackened. They have like the world record for the day one beat quest, the throne percent, and the blue tents world records, and they've made multiple commentary videos about their runs, and I thought they were really cool because it's basically what explains what their mindset is when they were doing the run. And I thought that while my mind is still fresh and some of like the how I played the run is still fresh in my head, I thought, you know what, why don't I do the same thing? It allows people to like learn like from the how we think, and especially for like runs which can be very complex behind the scenes, including some of the vocabulary such as V mode, duck draws, the and a bunch of other things, dynamic rarity. So I want to go ahead and try to talk about this. If for this run that I had have the world record, it's a 133. XX. I forgot the seconds. But we'll see in the video. It is a category that essentially is pretty simple. You need to get the Explorer trophy. The Explorer trophy is a trophy that is given to you once you drafted your 110th unique room. So not only do you need to be able to uh, pick up all of the rooms from the drafting studios and find all of the found floor plans scattered around the estates, but there's also some special rooms that you might not consider because they are not in the drafting pool in the first place, and you have to go out of your way to try and draft them. Um, and that's something to like keep in mind when you're doing the run. This 132 is one of the strongest run that I have. It's kind of lucky in a sense, and in particular with chess, but a lot of it is being able to like adapt on the fly and really just trying to make sure that you're very vigilant about a whole bunch of things, because there are a lot of things to my mind during the run that I have to like keep in mind. Um, but yeah, let's go ahead and play the run. Um, so this is a continuation of because I'm live streaming, you might hear me talk. I lowered the volume. You'll still hear the game volume, but you will hear a lot of my voice. So I hope my voice is still like audible as I talk. I do curse a lot during the run for different reasons. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the day one and explain like what am I doing and what my goal is. So the day one, you people will talk about V mode. It's not like a very much. It's a important topic to talk about, because V mode essentially changes the rarities and like certain things behind the scenes that goes in favor of for the player. So in V mode, certain rooms have like a higher dynamic rarity, and I'll get to that in a moment. But to keep it short, I'm drafting rooms pretty quickly, and it tells the game that hey, we have a uh, the player is returning, and we'll go ahead and readjust the rarities behind the scenes. So the easiest way to trigger V mode is drafting 3 rooms within a 30-40 second after starting. and that's how you would activate V mode. There are some major things with V mode, namely having HLC, which is one of the more important rooms, to be in the pool for the next 7 days. There is like the outer rooms that change. There's just a whole bunch of things, but it is just like a whole bunch of behind the scenes. I will discuss more like, but I think like in terms of like V mode, this is generally something that's how I usually will focus on. Everything else doesn't have like a lot of relevance because it's a day one. But I'll just go and start explaining about like what my goal is on day one now. So the goal for day one is, first and foremost, we need to get all of our permanent upgrades. I for which is the Gemstone Caverns, the West Path, and Orchard. Though Orchard we can hold off a little bit. So that's like my main goal. If I don't go get out to the garage, then obviously I will reset the run because it just used up a whole bunch of time. So here I solve the utility closet puzzle just to activate Gemstone Cavern. This allows me to get +2 gems for the future days. Generally, this is something you always go for because, well, you need to get utility closet for both the Gemstone Caverns and the West Path. And here I'm now going to go begin and start drafting Garage. I didn't draft... I wanted to draft Security here, but unfortunately I have 1 gem and I want to make sure I make sure I have like a gem ready. But yeah, I wanted for these day 1 runs, usually you just want to end the run as quickly as possible. Unless you have like a crazier day 1, this is just a very standard day 1. There are some secondary goals. For example, earlier I got a sledgehammer from closets, and I also bought a shovel from the commissary. This allows me to get the microchips and a floor plan called a conservatory, which is located next to the Orchard Gate. Ideally, you want to do all of the get both the conservatory and Orchard Gate, since, well, conservatory is very important, and the Orchard can also get to +20 steps. Ideally, you want to go there if you have like a shovel. So and I basically achieved one of my goals, which is just having both a sledge and a shovel day 1, just to get things prepared. I actually went back to the house, and earlier I drafted a schoolhouse. Schoolhouse is very interesting for Explorer percent because you are 8 classrooms are added to the drafting pool. Now, the classrooms, normally you would add typically from the drafting studio, but we can actually skip the classroom, because if you draft schoolhouse and draft a classroom from there, it will count towards like the total. So that's why I went back inside the house, drafted the classroom, and because I know while I have an empty space, I have a reroll, most certainly I will be able to draft the classroom. And I did, so I don't need to worry about it, which is actually a benefit for later down the run. But here now we're just gonna go ahead and get our conservatory and our apple orchard and start doing something, turning the valves for what we like to call blue flames. This is in preparation for chess. If you don't know what chess is, it is essentially a mid to end game a special effect for the where each piece has like a certain ability. There are 6 chess pieces, but the most relevant ones are going to be the knight and the king. I'll start with the knight because that's the order that I've gotten in terms of chess pieces. The knight is very important because it adds the armory floor plan, which is a required floor plan. There's no other way to get the armory. So knight is a required room. Is a required chess power. The other power is king, and the king power is not required, but is super powerful. It speeds up a lot of the rooms. So by selecting a color, anytime during the day, it will increase the likelihood that that specific color will show up. Very, very useful, especially down the line where a lot of the rooms tend to be very rare, and we have to like draft them. So obviously I need to get all the blue flames, and during the next few days, I start to go immediately to the outer rooms. I didn't want to go through the closet, and perhaps fetch a die, because, in my mind, I felt like, you know what, we're just gonna go to the outer rooms. If we see hovel, we'll take. If I see any other rooms, it will be on case-by-case basis. There was tomb, root cellar, and another room. I think it was like tool shed or shelter. No, I think it's probably either one. But I took root cellar because it's generally something that isn't too important, and I'm happy to just like end the day. Here we get hovel, and this is when I start to play out the run. So now I have all blue flames. Let's go ahead and talk about the chess. So chess, when you play blueprints, you might notice that there's a bunch of like chess pieces. That's because they're relevant to the chess puzzle, and basically you need to draft all 6 chess pieces, which are the pawn, knight, rook, bishop, king, and queen. The most important rooms are the rooms that contain a queen and a king and queen. There is only one room that has a king, which is the office. The other room is the throne room, which is something you don't have in your draft pool. So generally speaking, you always want to you have to like draft office if you want to do chess. The second one is the queen, and these are a lot more interesting. The queen chess piece can be found in 2 rooms. One is the study, and another is her ladyship's chamber. The goal is to find. A lot of times, the goal is to find these rooms. There are other rooms that you still need to keep in mind of. You need to draft knight, rook, bishop. Pawn is very easy to draft. You always happen to like find these. Now let's talk about the strategies. The strategy here is for hovel day is making sure that you making sure that you take care of your steps, you don't backtrack too much, and making sure that you don't go too deep into the manner. You need to take care of a lot about your steps. But another thing is, generally for chess days, you want to drain as much in your pool. You want to start by draining your common rooms, and then the game will start offering you like standard rooms. The game prioritizes like the more common rooms, and then once the common rooms start to drain up, the game will start offering you like the more rare rooms. Um, this is a strategy for specifically for the office, where you want to get the, which is a standard 2 gem room. Here I got a secret garden key. I immediately pop it because secret garden is one of the rooms where it's can be where it's not in the driving pool, and sometimes you might not get a secret garden key. So whenever I see a secret garden offered in like the billiard or music room, I will change my how I play and start going for it. Another thing is that I draft greenhouse. Greenhouse is not a good room, but it is also a very annoying room to draft because it has very strict drafting conditions. And I draft greenhouse because usually in a green day, it's typically like the very annoying room. So that's why I draft greenhouse, because it has to be east advance, so east going at the east wing going north, or west retreat, which is on the west wing going south. Here, I wanted to, but during this day, I wanted to draft Her Ladyship's Chamber, because similar to Greenhouse, Her Ladyship's Chamber has a lot of drafting requirements. You have to be in the west wing drafting south, and this is a room that can be very annoying later on. Now, I didn't get HLC, which is the shorthand for Her Ladyship's Chamber, but I did get Study. This is technically fine because my routes will start going to do Knight first, then King. So I will be doing chess the next day. But this allows me to easily get office because I left a corner on the bottom left, and office is a bedroom. So what I did is like I gather up all my gems that I skipped, and then just like re-roll in the corner and starts like get office. It's almost like guaranteed. Now let's talk about upgrades. The billiard upgrade is an okay upgrade. It speeds up the billiard room, but this is like I say it's like a mid upgrade. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It speeds up the dartboard puzzle. It makes the dartboard puzzle just have like one single, a singular question, like just one simple addition problem. But there was other upgrades that I would rather take. Here, technically I have all the pieces for chess. I have study, I have office, and I have the other 4 chess pieces. But I was hoping to save save some of my resources. I got freezer, which is something I was looking for, but it didn't came in earlier. However, I was still happy just taking freezer because sometimes you don't want to take freezer if you're on like a pretty good day, and even if you can, even with thawing, which is pretty niche, freezer is just signals that your day is ended. So I was happy to take freezer. Now, I'm definitely talking about like the specific strategies, but let's start talking about why knights first. There's like a debate whether or not you should do knight first or king first. In my opinion, and also just like from experience now after playing this more, even though knight is more doing knights first is feels like harder because if you have king first, it's easier to get chess again and switch to knight. But what the advantages of knight first, there are 4 reasons. One, as you can see, I got study instead of her ladyship's chamber or HLC, and HLC is an annoying room. So if I didn't get HLC on the first chest, I will aim for HLC the next day, which is gonna be my goal for today. Since HLC is a good room, it has an upgrade disc, and then also a required room at that. And you don't want to get HLC on a bedroom day because it's hard to drain your bedroom and also very hard to maneuver around your mansion if you're forced to draft a lot of bedrooms because they're typically bends or dead ends. The second reason is reset efficiency. If you do night last, there's a chance that night will not show up, even though it's a standard room. Like sometimes it just doesn't show up, and you lose a lot of time because you're specifically looking for that one singular room. Thirdly is just more flexibility. When you do night last, you have to do like a blue king during the like final during like the final minutes of the run. And like that means you have to do every other color first and then do blue. And sometimes it can be pretty difficult to like multitask like the remaining blue rooms that you do not have with chess. So this is something that from experience noticed as well. And the final reason is there's a chance that Armory will sell a torch. Torch is an ignition tool, and an ignition tool is a requirement. So here I draft Armory, and I did get the torch. Sometimes the torch won't be there. It will actually be the axe. It's a 50-50. But one of the reason why an ignition tool, so burning glass or the self-igniting torch, both are very important to have because one of your found floor plans is the tunnel, which is located in the grounds where you had to light one of the torches to reveal the tunnel floor plan. So like I got pretty lucky. I got the torch from the armory, so that means I don't need to worry about constructing a burning glass for during like once I get my king power. This day went pretty good. I got office and every other chess room, but I have not gotten my queen. More specifically, I want my HLC on this day. If I don't get HLC, then it will be a lot harder for me to. This is something that will be like a major time loss later down the line. But yeah, I draft library. It can get me study, but again, you don't want to you don't want to be forced to draft HLC during the final, like during like a purple king day. You want to draft it as early as possible. There are rooms similarly that has like strict drafting rules that you want to draft early. Greenhouse I mentioned earlier can be pretty annoying, but another room that's also very annoying is master bedroom, which is a unusual room that it's a dynamically unusual room that can only be drafted in the east wing, not in the corners, by the way. All the rooms I mentioned cannot be drafted by corners, by the way. And that can be really rough, especially, and even if you have even if you have king, sometimes master bedroom just doesn't show up. But back to the run, I got dice, and I still wanted to go for an HLC. I'm going back and forth. You might also see me purchasing stuff from the armory. At first I bought like the torch for reasons I've stated, but then I bought like the night shield and the morning star. These aren't usually what you see in a run. This is just for me to like survive. Like I bought the night shield just in case if I see a dark room or any much worse red rooms. Like here I reroll in the library. Because I wanted to get like my queen, because it didn't feel like I was gonna get like an HLC. I didn't, and instead went for a speakeasy, and I got pretty lucky that it's double keys, which is more ideal for the stay. But yeah, I re-roll in that area just so I can get a study because it didn't look like a good day. Because I'm out of keys. Luckily, I'm still going. Yeah. Something to know about one of the strategies with library with study is the likelihood when you have like a specific amount of gems, the game will try to alter what it gives you. So if you have like 0 gems, the game will offer you more free rooms. And if you have a bunch of gems, the game will offer you more gem costing rooms. In library in specific, it has another unique drafting condition. If you have a lot of gems, library will offer you more gem room. And if you have like 0 gems or 1 gem, the library will give you more free rooms, essentially. The laboratory experiment gave me is a good one. If I draft a shop, I get +2 dice. I was debating whether or not I should take commissary kitchen, but I opted to take kitchen. But that doesn't really matter. It's both a shop. Here, like gymnasium is good because it allows me to get like a room down southward, and there I got like HLC. I actually used the night shield because I don't want to lose too much steps. But yeah, we got HLC. We don't need to worry about this room for the next day. And I decided to end the day. I should check the kitchen just to see if it has a morning room. A morning room is another room that is required. It's a very weird room. There are many ways to draft the morning room. The intended way for morning room, the general intended way is you draft the morning room by eating bacon and eggs from the kitchen. This will add the morning room to the pool, and drafting the morning room is not too difficult. All you need to do is draft it in the east or west wings. And it has like the likelihood of drafting a morning room is like significantly high. But I didn't check. I probably should have checked it. But at the same time, I didn't have a lot of resources, so I didn't want to invest more time into like getting all of the getting to the wings, because I was being booted out of the wings. It didn't look like I have a lot of keys, a lot of gems to survive, so I decided not to. In the meantime, let's talk about like the other things that I'm worried about as I approach to like King. So we got our armory, which is one of the more difficult rooms to get. But we'll discuss like what are other floor plans you need to worry about. So, because any floor plan that's already in a drafting pool, will be able to draft unless it has special drafting conditions. But there are many additional rooms that isn't in your drafting pool initially. For example, the pool rooms, so locker room, pump room, and sauna. Ideally, obviously you want the pool room because it allows you to be able to have access if you draft like the tomb, because underground there's something called the tomb side, the gears, and the gear side. By by having the pump room, you're able to have the you're able to drain the reservoir by one, allowing you to cross the reservoir from the boat. That is only accessible with the tomb side, allowing you to access the gear side. Um, but the other, but other than the pump room, there are other two of the pool rooms, locker room and sauna. Locker room can be a little bit difficult, annoying to draft. Um, but this is typically, but these are all the pool rooms that you need to be paying attention to. Another one is the drafting studio. Now, there are 8 drafting studio editions, of which you need to grab 7, because if you already drafted classroom, you don't need to pick up classroom. Here, it's actually very intentional. I grabbed the vestibule, and I'll explain why I grabbed the vestibule later on. But the strategy for drafting studio is not to like always do like king day, but instead we will draft a room in the outer room called the shrine. The shrine has a special blessing called the blessing of the monk, and the blessing of the monk is really good, because essentially if you call it a day in a floor plan, that floor plan will be a guaranteed draw in the outer room. It will be like in the 3rd slot. So the strategy here is we do a blue day, we get shrine, and deposit as much coins. So because I got vault, I was able to get 4 days of monk blessing. Ideally, I would prefer 5, but since I was 1 coin short, I had to settle with a 4-day monk blessing. It's not the end of the world. It just delays some of the other just delays like the cleanup a bit. But yeah. And yeah, something to note about particularly about Vault is that in 1.6 runs, Vault is not in the blue filter, and that also includes Foundation. And in those runs, you want to draft, if you're doing chest and if you see Vault or Foundation, that's like an automatic draft, even if that creates like a detriment to your run. Now it's fixed, so Vaults and Foundation can be easily be drafted by a blue day, which combos well with Shrine. Now here, as you can see, I'm immediately beelining to the outer room. I see drafting studio, and as you can see, we are essentially going and picking up a floor plan, ending a day in the drafting studio over and over again, and then continuing to do this over and over again until our blessing runs out. There is a specific floor plan that I want the most, and it's the vestibule. I mentioned earlier that vestibule is an intentional pickup, and that's because I am planning on overlapping it during a room 46 day. King is a very powerful, but there's a strategy where you go for a hallway day to get to room 46, and room 46 is a requirement because not only does it add trophy room and gallery to your pool as quickly as add gallery to your pool, it also adds the Mount Holly gift shop, which is the Mount Holly gift shop is the only room that can be added via the room 46. There are other methods to draft the trophy room and the gallery, but for specifically the the Mount Holly gift shop. There is no other way to be able to draft it. You have to do room 46. And because it's a hallway day, I took vestibule because that's the only other hallway that's uh that is not in my deck. And when you do like a color specific day that isn't blueprints, it means that you're getting all of the floor plans. So like you can't do like during cleanup, you can't do a bedroom day if you don't have dormitory. You can't do a red day if you don't have lost and found or closed exhibit. You can't do black prints if you don't have throne room or treasure trove. Like you can't start doing cleanup early if you don't have the floor plans. And since I am going for hallway day for room 46, um then I am since I'm doing a holiday for room 46, I grabbed vestibule because at the same day I want to draft vestibule during my room 46 day. So right now, I have all my hallways. I have both my tunnel and my vestibule, but I don't have my pump room. As I was checking to see if whether or not I drafted pump room. I did not draft pump room, and that means I can't really start going for room 46 because if you're doing hallway, you not the only thing that I'll say you need is the having access to underground. So here, because I don't have a way to access the underground lever, I went for a blue day, and the few things I'm going for, like the main priority is, well, doing stuff with the blue day. So there are a lot. We already seen me do drafting studios, and that's all done. Like instantly I will draft like the drafting studio just to get the remaining floor plans. But the other goals is finding pool room just to draft not only the to like drafting all of the 3 pool room additions plus setting the water level so that I can have 2 as a viable option so with the pump room. And the other 2 things are getting the power hammer and the getting powering up the laboratory. So let's start with the power hammer. So the power hammer is a contraption that involves the hammer, a battery pack, and a broken lever. Here I get a battery pack, and this is not a good attic. Usually you sometimes you get all your items from attic, but sometimes you don't. This is a bad attic, for one reason, but to finish off about like power hammer allows you to access the basement, which contains one of the found floor plans called the lost and found. Obviously you will need a shovel to dig it up, but the two ways to gain access to the basement is through the foundation with the basement key, or through a power hammer. Generally speaking, it's much easier to do power hammer because not only do you need the foundation and lower the elevator, you also need the basement key, which is not easy to get normally. So usually generally speaking, if you have to choose between foundation or the power hammer, you'll go for the power hammer. the day didn't go well, but I did draft some of the more annoying rooms, like chamber mirrors. So it's not a terrible day. It's just this day could definitely be better, in my opinion. But back to the power hammer. The reason why I said that the attic is bad is not because I only got one of the 3 items. It's bad because I don't have specifically the broken lever. Um, Now, even if I just get like a broken lever, it's more ideal because when you have an attic, when you because like in the blue day you will get study and you can re-roll your outer rooms. And the outer room that is perfect, if you want power hammer, is through the trading post. Here in this attic, I got broken lever, and I decided to continue on through the day, picking up all the items here. I even get a sledgehammer. So the reason why trading post is good for getting the power hammer is obviously you're going to get a lot of other junk from the attic, and maybe you don't have all the required items. So you once you get like a study or some rerolls, you can reroll for the trading post and you can trade it items. Um, and there are specific tiers, but to give you a rundown, there are 5 tiers. And the tiers for each of the components are some of the lowest. Hammer is tier 2, and battery pack is tier 1. Broken lever is a tier 1 technically, but the reason why you want broken lever from attic is because broken lever is not an offer from the trading post. So if you don't have like a broken lever from the workshop or attic, it's a lot harder to make a power hammer. Um, like, it's a lot. It's also easier to draft. Another thing is that it's a lot easier to get the compared to like the sledgehammer and the battery pack. It's a lot easier to get through the trading post. I'm now also task overlapping. On the second thing that I was looking for, which is, well, I guess like it's the third thing I'm looking for, which is the boiler room. Boiler room is an important room because for another floor plan called the throne room, it's unlocked via Blackbridge Grotto, and Blackbridge Grotto is open or also unlocked if you power up lab. And one of the few ways to power the lab is through boiler room. And this is something that I will start talking about duck drafting. So here I was debating whether or not I get Song or Garage. I took Garage because there's a room that I fear of getting. Because doing a task overlap, I am trying to get Trading Post, and the room that I was worried about getting is Archives. So that's why I decided just to go for Garage. It's powered, and I can easily get to the Trading Post without worrying about using up too much steps. But back to the boiler room. And generally speaking, duct rooms in general. So duct rooms is a special kind of drafting where there's a chance where one of the floor plans is overridden by a duct draft. With boiler room, it's 70%. So if you notice that you drafted like furnace or archives from dark room, that's because dark room has ducts in the room, and the likelihood of drafting another duct room is higher, even if the rarity says otherwise. So things like laundry and furnace are rare, they show up. Weight room is also a rare room, but that also shows up. Archives is unusual, but that also shows up. here in the trading post, I was looking for a battery pack. Unfortunately, most of my trades give me dice, which is pretty bad. Um, there is one offer that allows me to get my battery pack, but unfortunately, that involves trading the broken lever, which I obviously do not want. Here whenever you have like a item that goes to like a dice trade, that's just specifically that item. So if you happen to get a coin purse again, that will always go to like a dice trade. But essentially what I'm trying to do is to trade as much as possible to not only to get like a item that is to get like an offer with a tier below. So how trading post works is each item has a tier, and like when you trade more and more, the item that's being offered will be at the same tier or lower tier. A lot of my items were a tier 2 or tier 3, so Vault Key is a tier 3. It will, when you trade a Vault Key, you have a chance of getting another tier 3 item, or a tier lower. Microchips, coin purse, treasure map, those typically are tier 2, and that's ideal because Sledgehammer is tier 2. However, I already have Sledgehammer. And then you have your tier 1s like Salt Shaker, which allows you to downgrade to which a lot of your tier 1s, so like battery pack, your Salt Shaker, your there's typically not a lot of tier 1s, but generally you want to downgrade your tiers, like your microchips, just to get like access to tier 1 trades, which one of the trades is a battery pack. I definitely did get unlucky and I have to go to the entrance hall to pick up my microchip, and to allow me to actually get the battery pack. Otherwise I had to like resort to more undesirable measures, because getting dice trades is good for this specific, for getting Blackbridge Grotto, getting Powered Lab, but it's not ideal. But yeah, because I have a lot of rerolls, it's getting Power Lab isn't too difficult. Yeah. So here I was able to accomplish 2 things. I did break open the weight room wall. It doesn't really matter too much, honestly, because I already drafted my outer room, which, but I still need, I'm still not done with the day. I still need to draft, all my pool rooms. So, one of the rooms I've already drafted is locker room, which is one of the more annoying pool rooms. It sometimes doesn't like showing up, but now I'm drafting my next pool room, which is the pump room. Here I lower the strategy to solve this puzzle is you start by draining the greenhouse, then drain the reservoir. And this is one of the quickest ways to set up this is one of the quickest ways to set up the boat in the reservoir underground. Now, I don't have a lot of steps, but I did have a dining room, which is what I'm going towards. So I wasn't too worried about like steps, but I have a lot of rerolls, and I felt like, given the amount of rerolls, even though I don't have any gems for some of the gem costing rooms, such as ballroom, I want to get my sauna, and not have to worry about drafting my and not have to worry about drafting pool again because I'm missing one of the pool editions. Yeah. So here I got my sauna. Now I don't need to worry about pool rooms. I don't for later on down the line. Unfortunately, due to my gem situation, I couldn't get some of the other rooms that I want to draft. There are some rooms that are very annoying to draft on a blue day, or can be annoying to like work with. So usually, those are the rooms that I would like to draft. But I was still happy with this day. Being able to accomplish 3 things at once. Unfortunately, I did not have a shovel. So I will still need to uh go back down to the basement to grab the lost and found once I have my shovel. Yeah. So I opened this up for future days and I call it a day. And I believe now is when I start to rip through the outer rooms. One thing to note is I didn't talk about the upgrades I got. My first upgrade was, I believe it was the pool room. No, not the pool room, the billiard room. I just upgraded to a speakeasy. But the other room that I got upgraded was, I believe it was guest bedroom, and guest bedroom is one of the best upgrades to get. Um, you is one of the best upgrades because guest bedroom has a rarity of common, and with because of that, because it's a common room, it's very easy to get dice. Um, um, through 1 to 2 rooms while drafting in the estate. Um, it's really good, especially for the other rooms. Um, but you won't see me. But usually with this run, it's much more ideal the upgrades be a lot earlier. So I still say it's one of the best upgrades. But that can feel free to disagree because usually you won't be seeing Geist bedroom a lot. But it's much more relevant earlier in the run. So as you can see, I immediately during this day I immediately go to the outer rooms. I wanted to see Tomb, but unfortunately I only got like some of the outer rooms I've drafted except for the tool shed. So I opted. I was thinking of like resetting the run, but I felt like you know what, I'll just go ahead and do a green room, green day, while my pool is like low. So I'll talk about the strategies on how to do like the cleanup. Well, first things first, you must make sure that you have all the floor plans of that color in your pool before you start cleaning up. So right now I'm cleaning up the green rooms. I have all of the green rooms. I have gotten Solarium from the. I have already got Solarium and I already have Conservatory. So let's talk about strategies. The strategy for Green Day is you first want to start by drafting the Terrace. Terrace is generally speaking, uh, for Green Day, it's really good because that saves you a lot of gems, especially for Cloister. But I did pay the fee for Cloister. So right now I have like don't have a lot of gems, but I'm able to like draft a whole bunch of green rooms just so that they're leaving the pool. There is one there are 2 green rooms that aren't able to be done on a green day normally, and those are the morning room and secret garden. Earlier, I've already opened up secret garden, but another room is the morning room, um, which there are few. I mentioned that morning room, the intended way is. By the way, this foundation crank did not save any time. It's just a waste of time. It didn't really need to do it. But I did mention that the one of the ways to get morning room is via the um, kitchen, which has a 40% chance of being one of the options. The other options being tomato soup or chef salad, which only provides you steps, doesn't add you the morning room. But anyways, there are other methods on actually getting morning room. One of them is being able to have the um breakfast nook as one of your upgrades. I didn't get it, but another method, and this is what I went for, is secret passage. I have rerolls. I have a good secret passage going towards the wings, um, going towards the west wing, and I was able to force draft a morning room. Now I didn't need to worry about needing a morning room later on. So that was a good call, and it allows me to save time later down the line and not have to worry about uh getting a morning room from the kitchen during a shop day. Um so that's one of the rooms, one of the biggest pain rooms out. I'm still not done. I still have yet to draft Solarium, which I did right about now. And I did grab the allowance for later on down the run. Because these allowance are actually pretty relevant. But yeah, that is the Green Day. The strategy, I didn't really talk about the strategy in proper detail. Draft Terrace on the west wing, and then draft all your green rooms on the east wing, because veranda and greenhouse like it when you do a east at going to the east wing and going north. Patio is a little bit annoyance, but it shouldn't be too bad to draft. And yeah, you draft every of your other green rooms, including your cloister, your solarium, and that's usually the strategy. Here, I did the same thing. I immediately just go straight to the outer rooms to draft tomb. I didn't want to. I did have rerolls from Geist Bedroom. Geist Bedroom again guarantees which outer room you want, but I didn't want to waste my rerolls because Orange Day has a problem specifically for this setup, which I will be talking about once we get into the estate. But one of the biggest problems, one of the main reasons why I go straight to the outer rooms is mainly to save on rerolls. I know I have Geist Bedroom, and technically, even though Geist Bedroom has now increased in rerolls, even if it doesn't, I still want rerolls for a different reason. During hallway days, because if I don't, there's a chance that I will not be able to get to room 46, and I wasted all the time. And if that's the case, that will be an automatic reset, because essentially your biggest time losses is when you devote your entire day on doing one specific thing or multiple, and you achieve nothing and you wasted like 10 minutes. That's one of the biggest time losses that you can incur, which is why I don't really recommend players who want to run longer categories to focus on the very fine-tuned details. A lot of the run is very macro, a lot more big. So even if it's like, oh, you're not running in a straight line, you messed up a billiard puzzle, your gallery puzzle solving is sloppy, they pale in comparison to literally having a day completely wasted. A 10-minute day waste. So, like, this is something that I would generally will focus more on, is trying to get like a devoted day successful. So yeah, so that's why, well, why I'm drafting like my ad rooms a lot. There is a time save that I could opt. This one doesn't involve orange days, it involves blue days, is being able to have the boiler room activate the red box in the passageway, in the underpass, not the passageway. And one of the floor plans, called the treasure trove, is locked behind a red box that can only be activated if you have a boiler room on your estate. Of course, you need to activate the red box, but when you have that, you're able to not only do room 46, but also get the treasure trove. This does save time from walking back, though it's, but I didn't go for that because it didn't really come up during the run. So this is the one potential time save. It is a bit luck dependent, whether or not you get it and have it as convenient as possible, because you will have to opt for a blue day room 46, but I'm not going for that. I'm going for orange day room 46. Now for Explorer percent specifically, there is a special way on how we do room 46. One of the floor plans that we got, called the tunnel, we got earlier, is a hallway. And one special effect that the tunnel has is when you draft from the tunnel, one of your floor plans is guaranteed to be a tunnel. And that's very powerful because combined with Foyer, you can just beeline to the 9th rank. Now, but the bigger problem with this strategy is rerolling. If you don't get the correct direction, like one of your slots is obviously going to be tunnel, which is very forced. Also, before I talk about that, there was a glitch happened that didn't go in my favor. Sometimes when you click too fast, you don't get it will not like register. So even though there's like 6 dice, I only got 4 because I clicked both of the pair of dice way too quickly. So the game didn't count it as like me picking up 4 dice. Instead, I just only got like 6 dice, which is not great. But that's not the worst thing in the world. But back to tunnel. The reason why you want rerolls is because just in case if you reach the rank 8 and you don't have like a reroll, like you don't have like a reroll, like one of your options is going to be tunnel. If you couldn't get out of the cycle on rank 8, so like if one of your floor plans is tunnel and your other floor plans are dead ends or facing to the right, have a doorway going to the right, you're basically dead. And that's why I didn't want to use my rerolls from the Geist bedroom to get Tomb, because there were times where the run dies because the room right of the antechamber was not going towards it. So yeah. Here I was presented a tunnel. This is a good location for tunnel, but I have not drafted East Wing. So I have a lot of resources, so I could afford like trying to draft other rooms. Yeah. So I was not ready. But here I get my East Wing, which is another one of the more annoying rooms. It's surprisingly rare but not too rare. It's just, for some reason, it just, during casual runs, you don't often see like an East Wing. But yeah, I needed East Wing, I drafted East Wing, and now, I still drafting, I see Vestibule, I immediately take it. This is my only my last hallway, well, before Tunnel, and now I want Tunnel, because I'm like, alright, I'm done, let's get Tunnel now. So now, it's essentially just tunneling all the way to the north. I don't need to worry about keys, even though I have a lot of keys. But yeah. Here, generally speaking, I would draft Passageway, just to get out of the tunnel loop, but I don't have gems. But here, my floor plans are good, so I'm able to do room 46. Yeah, sometimes you don't get the floor plans facing towards the direction. So if that's the case, then you're basically screwed. But we managed to get to room 46, and now we will do blue days for the day after room 46. So after room 46, you get new floor plans. There is the first and foremost, there is the you have the gallery now added to your pool, but also the trophy room. The trophy room can be a little bit of annoyance because it costs like 5 gems. And even if you don't want trophy room, if that's like your only floor plan that isn't a dead end, then that can be a problem. So, but I also want gallery, and not only do I want gallery, I also need to get room 8. Room 8 is a special floor plan that's similar to the secret garden, can only be unlocked through a key, a special kind of key, which is key 8, which is unlocked from solving the gallery. So how the key works is if there's a door locked and it's going towards rank 8, or any possible spots in rank 8, then it will draft the room 8. For a blue day in particular, it can be a little bit annoying because blue rooms don't usually are dead ends. There's not a lot of T-shaped blue rooms. And you have to go for a blue day because the likelihood of seeing gallery is much higher with the blue day. Because I think it's like a rare or unusual room. I think it's rare. Yeah. But now I got room 8, the key 8, which for today I am going to gun for a room 8 right now. Here I see trophy room, I have all the gems, and I immediately draft it. That gets me a lot of gems. So we got room 8. I'm getting out room 8, trophy room. But another thing, I did check to make sure what rooms that I have not drafted. Okay. I should also talk about what other thing I'm going for. Another room I'm looking for is Boiler Room, and that's because I have not picked up the treasure trove yet. So that's something I need to worry about. One thing I did forget in this run is I need the shovel. I need the shovel for Lost and Found, which I had not gotten yet. Yeah. And I think I forgot about Lost and Found until later on. Commissar was selling a shovel. Yeah. Yeah. The remaining rooms that I have, ballroom and rotunda usually are pretty annoying. They cost a lot of gems, and also they have like some minor annoyances. Ballroom can really screw up your gems if you're not careful, and rotunda is just usually slow, a slow room in general. But it does eat up your gems. Another thing I'm also looking for is finishing up my drafting studios. So there's 2 more floor plans I grabbed that I needed to grab, which is the clock tower and the casino, and that's something I will be focusing on. Yeah. Here we draft a speakeasy. It's very nice. You only need to do 1 solve. All right. Here I made a slight mistake. I chose rotunda over boiler. Now I do need to draft rotunda, but and I do need to draft rotunda. I haven't drafted the room before, but I still need boiler for getting access to the getting access to treasure trove. One more thing I will say is the library. One of the floor plans that's only drafted via library is the bookshop. The bookshop will show up after 5 library drafts. Not having 5 libraries, it's just having 5 drafts from the library. So if you reroll from library, the likelihood then you're proceeding with then you're moving for the floor plan. Like you're speeding up the logic for bookshop to show up. I am losing my voice. So I'll give everyone here a break. A little bit. There was, unfortunately, their match was moved to a different time. So, you were expecting a match. Unfortunately, it's on Thursday now. Because because of internet issues. Kennel, I think I got clock tower already. Here, I mistakenly thought I got the clock tower. I did not get the clock tower. In fact, I just added the floor plan. So, essentially, I wasn't able to get the, I had to get clock tower another day. Clock tower has specific drafting conditions that can be a little bit annoying, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not terrible. So here I got trophy room, I got the roommates, but I still need to go back to Blue Day just to set up boiler to get treasure trove. Here I misclicked and went for a bedroom day, so I didn't want to like call it a day immediately, and so I just decided to play out this day. Bedroom days can be really annoying. You ideally should have her ladyship's chamber before during like chess before bedroom king, and that's because if you don't, you have to spend a lot of time trying to maneuver your house to get to HLC. But even then, it's not guaranteed because you have a lot of bedrooms. Now that can help if you have like a lot of the now in this day it was not looking too great. I don't have a lot of doorways, and that's typical for generally typical for purple days, bedroom days, is because a lot of bedrooms generally don't have doorways. They are all often dead ends. The only ones that have doorways are mage chamber, aquarium, bedroom, and boudoir, but they don't give you a lot of doorways. So I have a lot of rerolls. I got rerolls from dorm and Geist. It didn't matter that too much. But I got master bedroom, which is one of the more difficult bedrooms to get on the bedroom day, because not only you have like a lot of bedrooms in your pool, but sometimes getting like master bedroom on the east wing just doesn't show up. And it can be, it will lose you a lot of time if you're not able to get a master bedroom, because you have to not only have to redo, you have to drain your bedroom pool again. I was still content with that bedroom day. I didn't draft all my bedrooms. I have not drafted bunk room or servants quarters, but because I got master bedroom, I say that like the day is pretty worthwhile, because servants and bunk room aren't hard to draft. It's only master bedroom that's one of the more annoying rooms to draft, because of its specific drafting requirements and the fact that bedrooms are just not really, just don't have a lot of doorways. But yeah, I'm back to blue days. Because I need to draft a boiler room. I have studied, so I'm able to draft tomb in the outer rooms. But I still need to like have a boiler set up first. So here I'm just like hunting while also like getting rid of my other floor plans that I don't need. Here I finally checked that I have not drafted clock tower. I skipped clock tower again. As you can see, my memory is top notch. Here we draft ballroom, which I have not drafted yet. And I think the only rooms are, okay, I'm just showing. I don't have observatory or coat check. Those are my only two floor plans. Which is very funny. If you have like a common or easy to draft room that you have not drafted yet. Observatory is a room that I need. Because observatory has planetarium, but that was not. But this is something I wasn't going for yet. So, but yeah, here I continue drafting because there's the two floor plans that I still need, which is the oh, also the drafting studios. Drafting studios, even though I've already drafted, is another important thing I need to do, because I still need the casino, which is one my last studio edition I need to add. So I'm finally done with drafting studio, and here I take clock tower because I haven't drafted it yet. So let's go over some other blue rooms that I needed to draft later on. I still need to do blue day again. Those being coat check, observatory, planetarium, and mechanarium. I have not picked up mechanarium or the planetarium, and I haven't drafted like observatory yet, which something you normally would do earlier in the run. But I will say with planetarium specifically, this is a room that is a standard dead end, and it's a room that you pretty much want to avoid drafting or picking up early, especially when you're doing chest day, because having a planetarium just not only clogs up adds more fluff to and garbage into the pool. But planetarium is just not a good room. It's a dead end. It doesn't. It only gives you stars at the end of the day, which is a time commitment, and generally stars aren't really good. It is good if you have 2 stars and you can get the twins, but generally speaking, stars is a floor plan that you typically ignore. So yeah. Here I'm now going down to the gear room to get my 2 missing floor plans, which is Treasure Trove and the Mechanarium. I can't just do a blue day, because a lot of the blue rooms are now more common. So I have to do a different, do something different. I'm still not technically done with picking up floor plans still. I have Throne Room, still in the Black Birch Grotto, and I'm still missing the Lost and Found. Again, you cannot clean up a specific color if you don't have all the floor plans in your pool. So I can't do black prints yet, and I can't really do blueprints. And which is a very interesting thing to say, because I still need Observatory, which is a blueprint, but a blue day makes Observatory less common compared to if you have not done a blue day, because Observatory is standard, it likes to show up sometimes, but with a blue day you get other rooms that crowds out Observatory. So I decided to here I realized I have not gotten Lost and Found. But yeah. We're on to this day. I believe I did bedroom again. Again, I have not finished bedrooms, but I think I did bedroom. Yes, I have done bedroom. The 2 remaining bedrooms are bunk room and servants' quarters. So here I'm trying to aim for that. I'm also, as a side quest, trying to find Observatory, because Observatory is can show up here, so I'm making sure to keep in mind about that. So yeah, I'm trying to make sure that I pay attention, and if I see like an observatory, I will basically take it. So here I see observatory. Again, it's a room that typically likes to showing up that isn't like a blue day. It's harder to get observatory on a blue day. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah. Here because I got observatory, I also needed planetarium. Duck drafting is a special kind of drafting where if you are drafting from a room with ducks. Yeah, the day is not done yet. I still need to draft servants' quarters. So I'm just now trying to search for servants' quarters. I don't have a lot of doorways though. So I have to like maneuver weirdly around the house just to find the floor plan. But it shouldn't take too long. Here I was offered Mechanarium. This is a bad Mechanarium for this day because Mechanarium has 0 doors, so it basically acts like a dead end. So here I got servants' quarters, and I actually, this is a little bit subtle, I actually walked inside the servers' quarters intentionally because of a special effect if you call a day on specific bedrooms. It's shown in the diary in her relationship chamber, but essentially when you call it a day in the servants' quarters, you gain 1 die the next day. This does at the cost reduce your steps by 25, because what happens with servants' quarters is that it halves your steps, your base steps before adding the steps. So like I lose 25 steps, but because I have orchard, I gain 20 steps. So I start with 45 steps. Isn't the worst thing in the world. Okay, shops. Let's talk about shops. Shops are pretty annoying. They are usually gem rooms and they don't show up often. So a strategy that works well in shop days is you want to take advantage of the laundry room. That's why I was picking up the allowance for later down the run. There are 2 floor plans that synergize. As I mentioned, the laundry, because you can get a lot of gems, but also the casino. Casino has a hidden feature where you're guaranteed to get 15 coins. Those 15 coins are really useful to convert to gems, because now you can get like 10 gems and be able to complete shops. However, as I mentioned earlier, I do not have a shovel. So I want to keep the money for just in case if commissary offers a shovel. But in the meantime, I'm trying to drain as much as to remove as much shops as possible. I got laundry room and casino. Those were 2 shop rooms that I need to draft. I draft showroom. There's 1 more shop that I need to draft to complete the shops. Well, almost complete the shops. There's still 1 shop that is better on a blue day. But there's 1 more shop that I need, and that is locksmith. But here I get a shovel from the commissary because I needed the shovel. Now I ran out of gems, so if I see, so I can't draft my locksmith. But here I backtrack to the laundry room. Again, because with the casino money, you can convert those money into gems, and that can give you like a lot of gems for getting every single shop. So yeah. I did say that it's faster to reset today. I am looking back. It's actually a much more. It's actually I'm on a little bit of fence of the idea of resetting. It's because like shops are harder to draft normally. Shop rooms just typically don't like to show up, even if you have like shop day. So, and you have to go like really much out of your way to just draft. But yeah, I was running out of steps. Oh, I break the keeper ties. I was saving it for whenever it's useful. But I got steps that is very necessary because I have a shovel that I need to use to dig up the lost and found. I also pick up the microchips because I also need throne room. And those 2 floor plans, lost and found and throne room, are my remaining floor plans that I need to pick up. So yeah, I was definitely behind on the found floor plans, but it's fine. While being in outer rooms, I did draft an outer room. I only need 1 more outer room left because earlier I drafted some fodders. of outer rooms I didn't need. And Shelter was the last one, and because I have one more reroll, it was ideal to just use the reroll and to just draft an outer room and get like Shelter. Such that I don't need to worry about that, because I was grabbing the microchips for the throne room. Yeah. We got our lost and found. Then I'm returning back to the surface to get the throne room. Okay. So there are 3 more colors left that I need to do. We need to do the red days because I just picked up the lost and found. I need to do black days because I'm now getting my need to draft the treasure trove and the throne room. And I also need to finish up my blue days, getting Mechanarium, Planetarium, and Kochek. Bedrooms are done. Shops are almost done. Let's see. Here I believe I did a red day, if I'm not mistaken. I think I did a red day on this day. Yeah. Okay, I did a red day. The strategy for red day is not too complicated. It's just try to draft red rooms in the earlier ranks, just so that you don't get security doored, while also making sure you take advantage of the four-way rooms like archives and weight room. It can be a little bit scary, with the not being able to see our floor plans, but having like a furnace helps out a lot. You need to watch out for certain rooms that are technically dead ends, like lavatory furnace and also the closed exhibits, because you're not gonna have like keycard potential. So you need to watch out for those. But generally speaking, red days are pretty easy. Note that there's a misconception about what furnace. When you do red king, furnace doesn't actually increase. It's just the same. So but furnace is still good because of the fumes, just so that you're able to see what's behind the archive floor plan, and being aware of, and just making sure that you don't waste your doorways. But yeah, that's red days. It's typically one of the fastest colors to complete. Provided that you don't like brick yourself too fast. All right. And I believe I did a blue day. All right. So we're going to be drafting a few remaining rooms. I was actually looking for a freezer for the next day, because throne room is a 5-gen room, and it also has specific drafting conditions as well. But I don't have like good ways to accumulate a lot of gems because I didn't have the upgrades that were relevant to the throne room. But there is a strategy that my chat did provide, and I was also reading chat. I was streaming on twitch.tv/undoubted promo. But one of the floor the strategy, if you aren't able to do like easily do black prints, is instead here I got bookshop now. With library, bookshop with is a lot easier with blue days, but you have to make sure you accumulate your library 5 times, 5 library drafts. But back to this strategy with throne room. So my final 2 rooms are well, after drafting my Kochek here, the strategy for black prints is if you have a Geist bedroom, you can opt for hovel, which makes the outer rooms, which makes drafting the throne room way easier. Um, Now I didn't know this during the time, but my chat was backseating. I can't really stop them, but it does also say like it also speaks to like the that like getting a world record is more like a community effort. So I appreciate Nurin for giving me the idea. Um he's the previous world record that I've beaten. He got a 142, which was the world record before I got the world record here. Um but yeah. Um a special thanks to Nurin for giving me this idea on how to do black prints. Um how to succeed with a black print day using a Geist bedroom. So here I got like my Geist bedroom, and the strategy again, grab hovel, and then we'll draft throne room in treasure trove. Throne room has a special drafting condition where you have to enter it from the middle, so you cannot draft it like going north or south on the edge of the house. Uh, so you um so that's why that's what makes Throne a little more difficult to draft. But yeah, this is where the run is completed. We immediately get Throne Room from Entrance Hall, and the last room was Treasure Trove here. And yeah, that's basically the entire run. I didn't get too deep into the specifics of yeah.
Oh, that was perfect.
Yeah, I didn't get too nitty gritty with like the very specifics internal stuff, other than V mode earlier. Um, it's just that there's just a lot of things happening. Um, but yeah, some things that I would change in this run was there was some weird decision making, of course, that does accumulate over time. There was no major mistakes. Like even the day where I didn't get the broken lever from Attic was still fine because I was it was fine because it's not necessarily like a waste. I still drafted like Chamber of Mirrors, which can be very annoying later down the line. But yeah, there's other internal stuff like HLC not appearing again until after you beat room 46. Um, like specific outer room logic, um, where the outer room logic is the likelihood of seeing a shrine, tomb, and schoolhouse is less likely. And like dynamic rarities, but generally speaking, they're not. These are something that is very important to recognize. Um, but and also like the rarities of each room. We have to keep that these sorts of things in mind. I think I tackled in this commentary like the more like important things to need to focus on. Greenhouse, master bedroom, um, HOC, those rooms can be very annoying to draft if you have to settle on getting them for a green room or bedroom day. There's also a strategy where um, there's also the uh, other internal stuff with uh, like outer rooms logic with a king. Um, I did go in some order. Like, um, if there's like a tool shed, I will definitely waste a tool shed because tool shed is not a required room. Well, it's not like a relevant room like schoolhouse, which is like a blue flame. But tool shed, if you do a blue day, has a 50% chance of being pushed back in the drafting pool. So you, I drafted like tool shed. There's also other specifics like shrine. If it doesn't, there's a 75% chance it's not gonna show up. It has a 25% chance of being in the second draft. So you only need one reroll instead of two. Shelter is always guaranteed. For blue day, and the rest of the other colors is always guaranteed with king. Um, but yeah, there's not nothing else that's important to talk about. I think like the biggest thing that would have saved time was just keeping track of everything. There was a tracker, but it's not approved because the tracker essentially is sort of mm, like sort of like a mod, unfortunately. So that's not officially been approved or recognized as like a tool. Um, but yeah, I was constantly looking back through the directory just to make sure that I haven't missed anything. Um, but yeah, overall, the run came together really well. Um, and there are like doing this category. If you're new to the run, I still recommend people do a blue king, and then once they get comfortable with the run, they should start switching to knight. Um, well, I do like when you're new to the category. If you're not used to chess, it can be a lot more difficult to get a run going. So I recommend new players go for king first, and then switch over to knights. The strategy for once you start trying to get your knight power is you want to do blue day, and because all of the blue rooms, all of the chess have their respective like chess piece. If you're not too comfortable with drafting a bishop on a blue day, which the bishop can be from bookshop, attic, or rumpus room, all three are potential valid rooms for blue day. You can just wait until you draft chapel and then go for a blue day. Because rook is blue, security observatory is blue, but you're most likely drafting an observer of the security. Office is blue and study is blue. Um, um, and once you switch, you have to like focus on drafting like armory, which may take sometimes may take a few seconds to potentially making you lose like more time, like 10, 20. At worst case scenario, you lose like 15 minutes for just solely hunting for armory. So this is why you want to switch if you want to get a great time in this run, you should stick with knight because you don't have this random chance at the end, and also you have more overlap with everything else, and a potential for torch, and yeah, reset efficiency, all those sorts of things. But yeah, that's gonna be the commentary for this run. I have like I might do like other commentary for like different categories that I run. Um, like all upgrade discs or cursed throne percent. But in terms of explorer percent, this is probably my strongest time in my opinion for this game. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure if this time can be beaten. There's just a lot of things that have to go right, and their decision making matters a lot. Um, There are some subtleties that you need to like keep in mind. I was talking a lot about like the macro stuff as well. So like here in let's see, let's see. Let's go and find like in here in particular, I keep flickering the yeah. On this day in particular, on I was trying to find. So in this day in particular, for example, like being able to recognize like different synergies can be a little bit rare. Here this one's like I have a study, I have a ballroom. Uh I need to go back to ballroom to get like 2 gems. This is less niche. There are other niche scenarios like there was a world record run where I got freezer because I was able to follow my accounts using Sauna. There was times where you should spread gold. That was way earlier. With Blackbridge Grotto, there is strategy involving Mechanarium and getting the lever from there. But a lot of the decision making can be hard to pick up. Um, and those sorts of decision making are like very paramount. Um, like earlier in the beginning, I made the right call on drafting a in here I made a really good call with like I only have one reroll during this time, so I wasn't too hopeful of getting a shrine, so I settled on schoolhouse. But I made a good call just to go back to the mansion and draft a classroom because I have one reroll and 1 gem. And that was really helpful during this run. If I didn't do that, I have to either get schoolhouse on a blue day or get classroom from the drafting studio. And as you can see during the run, I was only able to get a 4-day blessing instead of a 5-day, which did slow down the which did slow down because you want to have a lot of coins to like not worry about drafting student anymore. But in this run, I have to like draft it multiple times. So this was a good pickup. If I didn't do this, I would have gotten like 5 minutes slower because I have to drafting studio, and drafting studio can be quite expensive, depending on your gem situation. Like, yeah, here I got classroom there. Um, doing hovel on throne room was something I didn't pick up. Again, shout out to Naren. They gave me the strategy during chats, as you can see. And yeah, that's basically the whole gist of being able to make decisions on the fly. Obviously, I have the advantage of chats, which you can argue is like a bit cheap. Um, but honestly, it don't really matter to me. It's speedrunning is more like a community like driven thing instead of like it can be competitive, but but I think like the beauty of speedrunning is just being able to work together and like achieve something great. Um and celebrate like our wins as a community. Yeah. Um yeah. And re-rolling in a corner is another strategy that I did during when I was trying to search for office because I had study and I have a lot of gems. These are the things that you when you play blueprints more and more, you gain the uh you get like more and more understanding as to like what strategies you can come up with, and what ways you can try and manipulate certain aspects that can benefit your run. um like just again re-rolling in a corner, uh because a bunch of rooms are filtered out, so no T-shaped rooms, no I rooms, no four-way rooms, just only dead ends and bends that are able to be drafted, so on the corners only. So it's a very powerful strategy that's I was able to perform. But yeah, it's a lot of management essentially. If it can get a lot harder to it can get rough sometimes, but this is something that you should, when you're doing runs, there's so many things that to worry about. The best runs of Explore Percent now cannot have like a wasted day, essentially. You want your days to yield fruit, essentially. But yeah, I think that's it for today, for me. Um, if you if you enjoy this commentary, this is something I don't really usually do. This is more like inspiration because Blackened did his as commentary videos. But yeah, um, I'll also post the non-commentary video as well, in the description. Um, if you want to take a look at this. But yeah, that is it for me. See ya.